I'm very excited because this is the first time Altitude Minerals is presented for RIU. We've recently changed our company name and we've also brought in 4 new projects over the last couple of months. So there's been a lot of change going on and we've been pretty busy. We've also come up with instead of a single flagship sort of project, we're going with a pipeline of projects. And I want to go through some of them today. I'm not going to be able to go through all of them, but I really want to get across the strategy of what it is we're doing. And why is that why that will appeal to some investors in the room and other investors might not want to be a shareholder of us. But we're pre-discovery phase. So we have got a very large upside potential if we make a discovery. And what we're doing is by bringing in 4 new projects and going through and drill testing one of those each quarter, looking for that next big discovery, we can put that logarithmic sort of change on the share price. We're not a producer. Our market cap's $6 million. We've just recently raised over $3 million with GBA Capital. So we're well cashed up to undertake our activities going forward. We're currently drilling in South Australia on a titanium zircon heavy mineral sands project with a first mover advantage there. So I'll get into that one towards the end of the presentation. That's really interesting. So a discovery there. We've got a lot of coverage in South Australia on that. So that'll be a whole nother project, a whole nother company of its own. We'll be drilling in the Northern Macquarie Arc in November, looking for a next sort of those copper gold porphyries, and I'll talk a little bit about that one. And just recently, last week, we brought in the Firenze silver gold project in Nevada, and an amazing jurisdiction to operate in. And we've also got something in the Southern Macquarie Arc down near Cal, which we put our foot on earlier this year with an option to buy. So lots of stuff in the pipeline, lots of news flow, lots of drilling activities. Our strategy is to be pretty much drilling something, getting another couple of things ready to go, and then probably hitting something every quarter for the next 12 months. That's what you can expect from us. Lots of news flow, lots of drilling. Now, as I was saying, great teams make great discoveries. And I think one of the things that attracted me to joining the board and the company Altitude Minerals was that the board itself has had over $4 billion worth of exploration exits and success. So that's some of the board members. The other thing that I really liked was that it has a technical advisory panel, which independently advises the board, and it's chaired by John Main, who's had over $100 billion of exploration into development and mining success over a 48-year career. And he's the chair of the technical advisory panel. So when we go through and select our projects, we have to sort of get it past John as well. And he's been there and seen every pitfall there is in mining and exploration. So great to have access to learn from those people as well. So John's just one of those people. Also Ian Warland, one of our technical experts in heavy mineral sands, world-class discoveries of the synth heavy mineral sands deposits for Iluka, etc. So we've got a lot of people, right? But we're still in that early stage, haven't made a discovery yet, but going out drilling lots of really interesting projects that this group of people has selected as being a good risk-reward balance. So that's what we're going to sort of look at today. So that's the crux of what we're doing, is we think that our selection process of looking for the right sort of commodities in the right jurisdictions where you've got existing operating profitable mines in that geological domain. That's one of the key things. Because the social licensing is good. The tenor and the style of mineralization in those domains is profitable. So that's a good place to go rather than out in the middle of nowhere and trying to define a new province. That's probably a bit too high risk. We look for things where there's hopefully some metal at surface, and certainly that Firenze project I'll talk about in Nevada. Talk about metal at surface, high-grade rock chips, 1,800 grams per tonne, silver, 44 gold, etc. It's like pretty exciting sort of stuff to see those numbers. So I'm getting excited about that one. That's our new project that we pulled in last week, and I was out having a look at about a month ago in Nevada. And that's Nevada is our newest acquisition. We won't be drilling that one this year. We've got 2 other projects in the pipeline in front of it, but we're getting it ready to drill. So we'll be out there on the ground doing a little bit of tidying up drill collar locations, getting the permitting in place, ready to be drilling in the new year on the Ferenz project in Nevada. And one of the things that I should say, a couple of people have come up and asked me about is Nevada. What's the jurisdiction like? What's going on there? And I think some of the easiest ways to think about it is it's got 360 million ounces of gold endowment. It's the 5th largest producer of gold in the world, as a state. It's the things that produce more gold than Nevada, Australia combined, Canada combined, China combined, and Russia combined. So, Nevada's the next one on the list in terms of gold production. So, an amazing jurisdiction. It's number 2 on the list because its social licensing is great. Not many people live out in these huge basin and range. You see that sort of picture in the background there. Really easy access, huge interstate highways within 10 k's of your project. And fantastic sort of other deposits in the area and around. So some things about this prospect: it's a low sulfidation epithermal system with high grade silver and gold at surface. And some of the numbers there: 1,800 grams per tonne silver, up to 44 grams per tonne gold. You can see just some of the numbers there. This particular project, why we liked it so much, was because it had never been drilled. It was the BLM, Bureau of Land Management, had it as a wilderness study area since 1980, and it was recently rezoned as being okay for exploration. So Origin Royalties, a royalty generator company, staked it, and their model is to retain a royalty and sort of hand it on. It's a relatively cheap acquisition, $400,000 US, in a combination of cash and scrip. So we just went, well, look, this is outstanding mineralization, but also as those veins go under surface there in Nevada, there's been some recent discoveries of significant deposits just going underneath the cover where these big cross-cutting faults come through. Silicon and Merlin deposits, Anglo Gold Ashanti, that went to, I think it's about 14 million ounces in resource now. So there's this realization that Nevada is fairly underexplored because everyone went after the obvious sort of outcropping veins where they could get to them. They went after the Carlin trends. A lot of money went into that, into the Carlin style mineralization, but people haven't come back and taken that Australian undercover experience, that sort of, and trying to really understand as a mineral system. So we want to take modern Australian exploration thinking and methodologies and go and find some deposits there. Fantastic. There's some great gold and silver at surface. So we'll be looking to drill test that early next year. So the Macquarie Arc one, I won't touch on that one too much today because I want to get onto the one that we're actually drilling on at the moment, the Heavy Mineral Sands project. But we have an area in the Macquarie Arc. We've got some ground that's underneath thin cover, 60 to 80 metres there, where we've identified with a mag survey some pipe-like structures, which can be those porphyritic pencil porphyries, which you see elsewhere in the Macquarie Arc. And we're going to go out and drill air core across the top of those with some RC tails. So pretty cheap program, a couple of thousand metres of air core RC, and we could potentially jag ourselves a new copper gold porphyry system in the Macquarie Arc, one of Australia's premier porphyry belts. The one I really want to talk about, just as to finish up on, is our Eromanga Basin heavy mineral sands project. Now, this one, we've got, if you have a look on the left-hand side there, the yellow tenements are ours, and we're drilling up on the top in the middle of that at the moment on the Anil Pinner project there, on some strand lines we've picked out and some historical mag data that the government flew. So that's kind of what's going on right now, but we've also staked some ground a little bit further south, and we've also put in some new applications which haven't hit the map yet in other parts of the state of that first mover advantage, recognising that this particular formation, the Cadnawi formation, is prospective for the zircon and titanium heavy mineral sands. And the guy we've got out there, Ian Warland, out on the rig, was the guy who discovered the jacinth ambrosi and all that stuff for Iluka, and make it a world-class discovery. And he was the discoverer of the year when they found that. A little bit about mineral sands. You might not be quite aware what the zircon is. Zircon is worth about $2,000 a tonne, around that sort of number. Rutile is the titanium mineral, and that's a TiO2. And then you've also got ilmenite, which is iron titanium oxide. And what happens in these mineral sand systems is you get a blend, and you get a basket of that. So you're not really quite sure what the value per tonne of this commodity might be, but what you can do is, and this is Ian Warland said to us, hey, look, I've got an idea. I think the South Australia could be prospective for this, up where we were in the Peak and Denison, because it was an old inlier that sat proud for 1.7 billion years. And the Eromanga Basin, the ocean would have washed up along that and been a beachfront where you can deposit those heavy mineral sands. So he went out and did a bit of grab samples and, panning little bits of creeks and little bits where the creeks had cut down through some dunes. And we got a really good pan-con. Now, that's not a representative sample of what's at depth, but it's the assemblage. So it gives you, there was up to 35% zircon, which, if you remember, is worth $2,000 a tonne. And we had some reasonably good numbers in ilmenite and rutile as well. So we didn't have a lot of trash minerals in that. So the assemblage was good. The next thing we needed to do is to actually go out and drill it and find where are these beach strands and prove the concept that there is potential there. There's some of those beach strands exist, and kind of get a feel for the grade and extent of it. So that's why we're out there at the moment, drilling a 4,000 metre air core program, drilling within, near to the surface. These heavy mineral sand deposits are, they're usually free dig, or they need to be, bulk commodity. You dig it up with a bulldozer, very quick, very cheap to drill, etc. So, fingers crossed, over the next couple of weeks, we'll be finishing the rest of the program up there. And if we can demonstrate that, then that would be fantastic. So Ian and his crew are up there right now, out there with, very small rig, just drilling 20, 30 metre holes, very fast, very cheap, low environmental footprint, to see whether or not we're correct with that. So what you can expect from Altitude Minerals over the next 6 and 12 months is a lot of news flow. So right now, as I said, Ian's up there drilling for the heavy mineral sands, the zircon and titanium. We'll be drilling out on the Byrock project, Northern Macquarie Arc, looking for the next sort of Cadia North Parks. We'll be getting results from the heavy mineral sands towards the end of the year. And then we'll also be working up the Firenze, the one in Nevada, the Silver Gold project. We'll be out on the ground getting that ready for drilling early next year, so there'll be results from that. We'll also keep our news, and at the bottom of the Macquarie Arc, we'll also be getting ready the rest of our pipeline of projects ready for drilling. So, again, lots and lots of news flow, lots of drilling. But, if you're thinking about where do we sit in terms of, you're here today to look for companies that you think might, the risk reward is worth the investment. We've got quite a few people on our board and technical advisory panel who have had major successes, and we're putting those thoughts, those people's experience and expertise to the test with active drill program that's on at the moment. And it's a high risk opportunity with a logarithmic outcome. Hopefully it goes up that way, but it doesn't always work out like that. So just to be upfront. But look, thanks very much for listening, and keep a lookout for the stock code ATT.